my 3-month update since I quit GLP-1 medication in October of last year. And I'm gonna say it right at the top of this video, I did gain weight. Hi everyone, my name is Mima. I used to be obese. I lost all of the weight through a combination of GLP-1 medication, a whole foods diet, and weightlifting. I am now an endurance cyclist training for Unbound Gravel 100 miles in Emporia, Kansas in May, and I have been off of GLP-1 medication for more than 3 months now. I do have a couple of videos talking about my entire GLP-1 journey and why and how I got off of GLP-1 medication. So if you do want to learn more about those things, please go do check that out. Links in the description box down below. I am finally able to make this video, my 3-month update since I quit GLP-1 medication in October of last year. And I'm gonna say it right at the top of this video, I did gain weight. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But before you go clacking away on your keyboard to tell me, I told you so, we told you so, everyone regains off of this medication, especially all of you guys who only say that in the subreddits every time someone comes in and talks about how they need to get off medication and they need assistance to keep the weight off, blah, blah, blah. I am gonna say it right off the bat that you will be disappointed in this video and you will be proven wrong. Before we get into that though, I wanted to share with you guys some very fun things. First off, I was in the New York Times. I was interviewed for an article about protein intake of all things, and it's really quite funny how that happened because the reporter actually reached out to me through Reddit of all places. I had a post, and I'm gonna put like what that post was right here, that popped off on Petite Fitness. It was basically like a before and after post, and it got a lot of attention. I got a lot of messages, some unwanted messages, and I guess like it was through that post how she found me. So I have shared a gift link of that New York Times article down in the description box below, so if you are interested, please go to check that out. And the second update, which I have already mentioned a number of times in previous videos, so I am really sorry if you are sick of hearing about this, but I am going to London for a work trip in a couple of days. Like, my flight is in a couple of days and I am taking you guys along with me. I know that I yap a lot about habits, routines, and systems and building those up in order to be more resilient in disruptive situations like work travel or just vacation travel. So now I actually get to show you what those systems, habits, routines, all that stuff actually looks like and how it works in practice. I am actually planning on making 2 videos about this trip, of this trip, during this trip. Anyway, 2 videos about this trip, about this trip. 2 videos. One is sort of like how I prep. I'll talk a lot about like what I do to foster an environment that promotes maintaining your weight off of GLP-1 medication, or even just like being on GLP-1 medication and how, you foster that kind of environment that is good for when you are taking GLP-1 medication and you have to be in situations like work travel or vacation travel. So I'll talk about things that I bring with me to help with the maintenance, and some of these things are the same things that I brought with me when I was still taking GLP-1 medication and traveling a lot for work as well. So all of that good stuff I will be sharing with you guys. And the second video will be more of a vlog style. So really seeing all of that prep in action, taking you guys along with me as I explore London for the very first time. This will be my first time visiting London, so I am quite excited about that as well. So if you would like to see what that looks like, if you're excited as well or want to be on that adventure with me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the adventure. Now, let's dive into the very meat of this video, the very fresh meat of this video, my post GLP-1 weight gain. As some of you may know, my husband and I went to a 17-day vacation in Southeast Asia over the course of the December holidays. And at that point, I had been off of Zepbound for over 2 months. I didn't track food on this vacation, and definitely for a majority of the time, probably all of the time, ate at a surplus, and the scale went as high up as 128 pounds during that trip. And my maintenance range, just for reference, is 117 pounds to 120 pounds. I am 5'3", by the way, 5'3". I am a short woman, so I just want to put it out there so you guys know what the statistics are. But on the other side of things, I actually met my movement minimums while I was on this trip. I averaged around 16,500 steps per day. I also lifted 9 out of the 17 days that we were on that trip. And I talk a lot more about that in this video right here. So please go do check out that holiday update that I uploaded almost immediately after we got back from vacation. But at this point, I have been back from that vacation for weeks now. I mean, at this point, as of this filming, over a month now, and I have been back to my normal routines, my normal nutrition, but the scale has been hovering at 121 pounds for the last 4 weeks, basically. Before we left, I averaged around 117 pounds, which was again at the lower end of my maintenance weight. So my biggest worry over the past few weeks since we've gotten back is not so much as weight gain, but fat gain. Specifically that, the 4-pound difference between 117 and 121 was real fat gain. And over the last few weeks, seeing the scale just basically hovering between 120 and 121, I was already starting to think about going into a calorie deficit to see the scale go down. But then I remembered that I was due for my quarterly DEXA scan. So I asked my obesity doctor for my usual referral, and I went and had my DEXA about 2 weeks ago. And just sort of a quick background, I actually had my first ever DEXA scan in July of last year. And by that point, I had already lost the 65 pounds that I had lost. And I was already 4 months into strength training very, very seriously, going to the gym very regularly and lifting heavy weights. So when I had my DEXA scan towards the end of July last year, I was actually at 32.1% body fat. And in October, which is 3 months later, I took another DEXA scan and my body fat percentage improved. At that time, it went down to 26.9% from 32.1. So it was a huge difference, really showing how both nutrition and regular strength training, progressive overload can really change and recomp the body. So going into this latest DEXA that I had 2 weeks ago, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually a little anxious that number had either stayed at 26.9 or increased a little bit because of what I worried was fat gain from my travels, basically, which mathematically, again, would have been so difficult to do. But I came out with this latest DEXA scan at, drumroll please, 25.4% body fat. That is 1.5 percentage points below what I was in October. A 1.5% decrease in body fat percentage from 26.9 to 25.4. And I think when I had my DEXA scan in October, I was hovering at around 119. So there, again, there's still that difference in actual weight on the scale, but I am much leaner now compared to what I was in October, and definitely what I was compared to July. So just let me show you the photos of what 121 pounds with 32.1% body fat looks like compared to 121 pounds with 25.4% body fat. A 6.7% difference from July to January, which is around 6 months difference, and a lot of consistent strength training. So I guess in a way, in a sense, those weight regain truthers, they were right that I would regain off of the medication, but it was muscle, not fat. So sorry to disappoint. I am more than happy to keep you guys updated on this because I am more than happy to be that data point that says, no, you don't necessarily regain weight back or fat back when you lose access to GLP-1 medication. I am more than happy to prove all the haters wrong. And I am more than happy to continue deadlifting until I am able to deadlift my body weight. I deadlifted 100 pounds the other day, so inching ever so close to deadlifting 120 or 121 pounds. So this video may have come off as very smug or whatever, and at some point people might come to me and say, I told you so, whatever. But again, I am happy to keep proving people wrong, keep the hope alive that, again, you do not necessarily regain the weight off of the medication. There is so much that you can do in order to be able to maintain your weight loss, whether it is on the medication, off the medication, or whether you are just trying to lose weight naturally. Do not be deterred. You are not doomed. There is hope. I would love to hear your thoughts about this update, about my little rant towards the end there, towards the weight regain truthers, in the comment section down below. Or you can also DM me on Instagram. Here is my handle. If you have any questions or just want some guidance, ideas around your GLP-1 journey or off of GLP-1 journey, my DMs are always open. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this was a quick video today, but I wanted to get this update out there just to, again, give people hope that you do not necessarily regain all the fat back off of the medication. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me today. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, happy riding.